Namaste. Namaste. Hello, Tom. Hello, Judah. Namaste. And we'll get started in just about a half a minute. So check in with yourself, please. Please check in with yourself, right? Good morning, Svet, or good afternoon. Check in with yourself. Ask yourself right now, ask yourself, how are you doing? How are you doing? Right? The way you would ask it of a dear friend, right? Truly with concern. And hear your response. And please honor where you are. Yes, right? Honor where you are. We're so conditioned in this culture to wanting to be someplace else, to wanting to feel something else, to wanting to do something else, right? We're always out, right? Instead of just going in and really honoring where you are at right now. So let's help each other with that. Let's support each other in at least the attempt, right? We owe it to ourselves, right? We're tuning in, right? We're tuning in to the hum of our existence. We're tuning in to the vibration of the universe, of all human hearts, right, that are crying out right now. We're tuning into that, right? And it's so incredibly brave. And it's so incredibly compassionate, right? That will to become a more aware human being right now. And it starts with the self. It always starts with the self. And breathe in. Let's take a moment. Maybe we could all ask for some peace. Some peace to heal. Some peace to come upon new sources of communication. Some peace to weave us a little closer together rather than further apart. Namaste. I'm feeling really fried and burnt out, and I'm doing the best I can, right? To just process all of this craziness, and just like you, it's not easy, right? We are not living in easy times right now. And as much as I aspire to show up and offer great sources of inspiration and, cheer us on, boy, I'm stumped, right? I feel like I have a hangover and I don't even drink. It's just been a lot. It's been a lot for all of us the past couple days, past couple months, and a lot to process, right? And sometimes it gets, really just kind of stuck, and gotta do the best we can. That's all we can ever do, right? That's all we can ever do, is the best that we can in each moment to be with it, to move it around a little bit. There are certainly no answers. There's certainly no quick fixes, right? Yeah, I'm really stumped today, but as always, I choose to show up because we're showing up for each other, right? We're holding each other up, right? We don't have to do it all as one person, right? It's not up to one person, right? It's up to all of us to do what we can, right? To do what we can. And it's challenging because I know a lot of people are just feeling a lot of grief, a lot of confusion, a lot of anger, a lot of disbelief. And when we're plagued with all of those emotions that might at first glance just appear to be negative and kind of pulling us down, like, as humans, we have to recognize that that's our birthright to even feel any of that, right? To feel confused, to feel saddened, to feel angry, to not know what to do. There's nothing wrong with us when we have those feelings, right? And it's just how to honor where you're at right now. I had a student reached me yesterday and said that she was having trouble because she was feeling so angry. And the question becomes, why is that trouble? Like, the world is in trouble, yes, no doubt. But why is it that we have trouble when we feel anger or sorrow? It's part of who we are as humans, and we must honor truthfully. It's the only way we're going to get through any of this is if we light the spark of truth. Because truth gives us, what does truth give us? I'm not even sure. I believe in it so much, but it gives us a stand, right? It gives us a foot to stand on, right? It helps us get up each day. Now, your truth might be very different from somebody else's. And what you're feeling is probably different from somebody else. But undoubtedly, we are all being shaken right now. So we have the choice to live in the truth of the shake, or, look for the exit. But you know what? Where are we going to go? Mars. That's all we got. That's all we got right now. That's the only option, right? And I don't think he's ready to send us up there just yet, right? So here we are. And it takes such bravery to just sit and be with dismay and disgust and disbelief. You know, the heart's always going to yearn. The heart's always going to yearn. It's going to be the thing that always drives us for more, strives us for more, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? One of the things that links all humans together, one of the commonalities, is the heart yearns. And as we all struggle, right, I think it's pretty safe to say, right, nobody is having an easy time right now. So as we all struggle with the yearning of the heart and the difficulty of sitting in our own truth and honoring where we are, right, where we are right now as a country, you know, ain't too pretty. And where we are in the world with this pandemic ain't so great, right? Yet here we are. And as I was saying, there's no one that can offer us, right, the answer, right? We have to keep on the quest. But the quest isn't how to get out of it as quickly as possible. The quest is to stop ignoring it. We are so prone as a culture to getting rid of and getting out of as quickly as we can, that we don't really stop long enough to see what we're actually in and what it is that we want to get out of. We're just so addicted to the yearn, right? The next, the best, the fix. And all that stuff in some ways is easier, but it's all failing us right now, right? So I think it's pretty safe to say that this shakeup is giving us an opportunity as a community, globally, nationally, but also as individuals, to try something else. And I certainly don't have the answer on what the something else is. I wish it was that easy, but I can only say it's time for all of us to attempt something else, and what something else might be is to just really, really, really honor what you're feeling, honor where you're at, hold space for yourself to have feelings of rage and confusion, right? Instead of trying to get out of them so quickly that what we jump ourselves into isn't so authentic, isn't so real, isn't so truthful, right? It's challenging. It's so challenging to be in your truth. But if anything good can come of this crazy, crazy time of great upheaval, it might be just that, right? Because I was talking to a friend last night actually about, you know, the difficult conversations that need to be had, right? And this has been coming up. I see it on Facebook. People are, you know, I hear these words like it's time to start having the difficult conversations, right? It's time to stop sweeping things under the rug, right? And I think that more of us are stepping up to the option of having the difficult conversations because we're all aware of our mortality. You know, clearly we're all going to die, but yet again, that's a conversation nobody ever wants to have, right? You know, as I speak of it, I know that I might be, you know, setting some people off, right? It's morbid. Nobody wants to talk about it. Once again, it's this deep state of truth that if we can just really, really be in it, you know, our mortality, right? And this virus is showing us that that's there for each and every one of us. So we're all taking greater steps. I think we're all starting to be more honest with ourselves and with each other, because we're all going to be on our way out at some point. So while we're here, we might as well live as richly and as fully as we can. But of course, richly and fully does not mean the biggest and the best, you know, materialistically, right? It's in the truth of your existence. You know, today is just a difficult day for me to to offer anything other than space as a human being, because I just feel burnt out from this all, right? I just need like a day to catch up, if you will, right? So, but the beautiful thing is, you know, the practice of showing up for each other, the practice of coming into one's truth, the practice of honoring, in this case where I am, is the very thing that helped me click the button and show up for you guys today, right? Because without that practice, without the reminder of live in my truth and honor where I'm at, I'd be like, oh, I'm not good enough today, right? I'm not a good enough representation of what we should be as human beings. I've got nothing positive to say. I'm not shiny and squeaky clean today, so therefore I have no worth or value, right? And that's where the conversations have to change, right? Our approaches have to change. And once again, I think it's this enormous gift of wake-up call, right? That we're all going to die. You know, and I laugh at it because it's something that is so effing obvious, yet none of us are willing to pay attention to it or admit it. And now this virus that's, you know, created, you know, isolation round two in this isolation round one in this experience that we're all in. It's like, oh, wait a minute here, I better be careful because I might be at risk of losing my life. I better get my shit together. Not the shit of the material world, the shit of my internal personal stuff. I better start paying attention. And I better start being a heck of a lot more honest with myself and just strip all the nonsense away and let myself have the permission and the privilege to be a human being that aches and experiences joy, right? That questions and is deeply confused and has great states of anger, but also moments of peace, right? It's all there. And it's just, everything's being shown to us in this like steroid technicolor way right now, because the world has just been blown up by these two great crises that we're experiencing globally and nationally. I'd like to tie that one up in a neat little bow for you guys. Maybe I'll be able to do it at the end, but right now let's just sit together, right? Let's just sit together. You know, it's a miracle if we can find a breath, right? Just find a breath for a second right now, right? Move yourself around. So as I've been saying that when we move ourselves around a little bit, it kind of gets us in touch with our space, right? Where are we right now physically? That we have a relationship to our environment, right? And that immediately, you know, wakes us up and takes us out of like the zombie autopilot that we could so easily be in right now, right? From the load up. And then let's take 3 cleansing breaths together. Excuse me. Breathe in. Again. One more. Move around a little bit. And then as you approach your seat, approach your state of humanity, you know, if it's raw, if it's fatigued, if it's hurting. Approach it as worth and with worthiness or of worthiness, right? So you are worthy to have those emotions, right? And you are worthy to become aware of those emotions. We're not going to shun, displace, ignore. And if you're feeling awesome today, please, please don't let me burst that beautiful bubble, right? Just honor your awesomeness, right? And then soften the face. and particularly up at the brow area across the forehead. And sense the scalp releasing. And the lids heavying. The jaw dropping. Just crawl inside your body. The body that you are placed in right now, not the one you want, the body that you have. Crawl inside. And if anything, by way of a thought or an emotion, is showing its face to you, whether it's positive or negative, honor it. Make sure it understands that you acknowledge it. It's been waiting to be heard. Your thoughts and your sensations and your emotions are waiting for you to hear them. Even if you think they've been like going around your head 24 hours a day, 24/7, constantly rambling. They're doing that for a reason, because they need you to acknowledge them. Honor your truth right now. And when you feel ready, release the hips and drop down into the base of your tailbone. A willingness to sit with yourself for a few moments, a willingness to tolerate your emotions and thoughts for a few moments. Right? When we learn to tolerate the self, my goodness, we might actually be able to learn to tolerate each other. As you feel your hips and tail settling down, settle into your environment, where you are seated right now. Notice that whatever it is, it supports you. Whether it's the chair or a cushion or floor or your bed, it supports you. You're not falling through it. You're resting on it. You're resting on it. Excuse me. Lift the waist slightly. Just make a little space in the midsection of the body. And as you make space in the midsection of the body, just move your breath around a little bit. One of the things that gets us through what we're feeling when we're feeling it is a sense of spaciousness. Let's become aware of all the airspace around the physical body, around the skin, that you have space. And as you continue to crawl inside the self, notice the inner spaciousness that might come as you open up the waist and the chest. And just let breath come in, let air fill the lungs. And let air and breath go out, emptying the lungs. And just become aware of the breath as it touches the inner body on the inhale, and the breath as it touches the outer on the exhale. And that air leaves you and goes into the atmosphere. And then it comes back in and touches you. And this is a sense to help us seek out that spaciousness, right? The spaciousness so our thoughts and our sensations have a little bit of room to breathe. So we can actually have them, we can actually tolerate them, we can actually live with them. You have such right now, any given moment of your existence, to feel whatever it is you're feeling, even if it's labeled a negative emotion. It's there for a reason, right? And it's not about putting blame outside on why it's there. It's about honoring you as a human being, right? That it's there for you to work with, that it's there for you to learn from, it's there for you to unite to, even if it's negative. Because when we live in that truth, it frees us from the confines of trying not to have it, of trying not to be in the state of truth, right? So we're not imprisoned in our own thoughts or our own sensations. Keep going to the breath. It touches the inner body on the inhale, and it touches the atmosphere on the exhale. And then if you're participating in our daily lung strengthening exercise, empty the breath from the underbelly. And breathe in. Retain. Breathe out. Retain. 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 Release the lock of the underbelly, letting the breath go, letting the breath flow, move the body. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths in through the nose. Again. One more. In just a few more moments, we'll hold space for each and every one of us to sit in great tolerance of whatever it is we're feeling and thinking right now, honoring our state of truth, And as we do that for ourselves, we're kind of whispering it out into this community, to each other, and beyond this community, to the nation, to the globe, if you will. And as we seek out our states of truth, and as everyone attempts to do the same, we might actually have a chance to live freely and with a state of unity. Just let people be people, right? It might be worth just giving it a chance, since nothing else is working right now, right? Continue to focus on the inhale touching the inner body, and the exhale touching the airspace around you. The space to live freely and truthfully with your mind and your heart as you now know them. And bringing your hands to the center of your heart. Maybe a moment of quiet. Asking for a little peace. For me, the practice of peace occurs from acceptance. Acceptance that we are all human. And may we all continue to honor our truth and present more authentic shades of the self to each other, so that we might live in a greater state of union as humans. And breathe in. Namaste. Please feel free to send me how you're feeling, how you're doing. It matters that we continue to check in with ourselves and ask each other honestly, but also that we check in with each other, and to provide some quiet space and just listening, right? Holding space for each other and just listening to each other can be extremely medicinal right now. Anyone that cares to do the physical asana practice, we're heading over to Zoom. Christina's placed the information there. Have the best day you can have, right? The best day today that you can have. And of course, that's always changing, right? Because the world is continuing to change, right? And so are we. We are changing, right? The only way we're not going to change is if we lock ourselves in our basements and wait for this to be over, right? We're in it. We're in it together, right? And there's nowhere we can go to escape it, right? So we might as well get real, right? Get honest. Get truthful. Seal it up, send it out. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be happy. an easy heart. Namaste.